Hello, my name is Brian Bowen. Welcome to part one of my series that I've started on YouTube called The Case for the Resurrection of Jesus Christ. The two sources that I'm going to be referring to as far as the information which I obtained is from the Case for the Resurrection of Jesus by Gary Habermas and Michael Licona. Gary Habermas is the world's foremost expert on the subject. And also the famous Christian philosopher William Lane Craig's book, On Guard. Those are the two books that I'm going to be relaying to the information concerning the facts that I'm going to relay. Okay, I'm going to split these segments up into different parts. Okay, because it's the Case for the Resurrection of Jesus is a very in-depth subject. It's not something that I can just simply go over with you in the next few minutes. But I am going to be introducing to you about 5 parts to this series. Okay? Part 1 will deal with the first 3 facts of the 7 facts I'm going to be displaying to you, which is what I'm going to be doing right now. Part 2 will be fact number 4, and dedicate part 2 all to fact number 4. And part 3 will be on the resurrection body. Or not resurrection body, excuse me, be on fact number 5. Part 4 will be on, part 3 is fact number 5 through fact number 7. And then part 4 will be on the resurrection body. Part 5 will be on the naturalistic theories, because we'll summarize the 7 facts and we'll go over that. And talk about all the naturalistic theories people try to go and account for these facts. Alright, summarize my case pretty briefly, just real quickly. There are 7 facts that I believe are very strongly evidenced for the case for the resurrection of Jesus. Okay, fact number 1, Jesus died by crucifixion. Fact number 2, Jesus was buried in the tomb of Joseph of Arimathea. Fact number 3, Jesus' tomb was found empty by a group of his women followers. Fact number 4, Jesus' disciples had experiences in which they sincerely believed was the risen Jesus. Fact number 5, Paul the Apostle was converted to Christianity after he too had an experience in which he sincerely believed was the risen Jesus. Fact number 6, James the Lord's brother was also converted to Christianity after he too had an experience in which he sincerely believed was the risen Jesus. And fact number 7, the Jews had no belief in a dying, much less rising Messiah. So the origin of this belief needs to be explained. Where did this belief come from? Okay, we'll deal with the last 4 of these facts, or the last last 4 of these facts later. Right now, we're only dealing with fact number 1 through fact number 3. Okay? Let's start with Jesus' death by crucifixion. Alright. Jesus' death by crucifixion is what historians and scholars refer to as historical bedrock. And what that means is it's a historical bedrock fact. It's a fact that's so strongly supported, so strongly evidenced, that virtually everyone agrees with them, regardless of the belief system. That means even non-Christians agree that it's true. Yeah, we say, isn't there the scrattlers here and there that's going to deny that Jesus ever existed, or, maybe Jesus didn't die on the cross? Yeah, there's always somebody that's going to take an extreme position that almost no one else takes. There's still some people that deny the Holocaust, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the event didn't happen. Almost everyone agrees that Jesus died by crucifixion, because it's so strongly evidenced that it's beyond doubt. Bart Ehrman, who's an agnostic scholar, and Gerd Ludemann, who's an atheistic New Testament critic, both refer to Jesus' crucifixion as an indisputable fact. And the skeptic James Tabor actually said that given the nature of Roman crucifixion, Jesus was most surely dead. And John Thomas Crossan, who was the co-founder of the Jesus Seminar. Now, don't let these guys' name fool you. In the 90s, in the newspaper, the Jesus Seminar name was synonymous with skepticism. They rejected about 80 to 90% of the red letter words of Jesus. And by the way, John Dominic Crossan is an atheist. He doesn't believe in the existence of God. The other co-founder of the Jesus Seminar was Michael Bohr, who also agrees with John Dominic Crossan. When John Dominic Crossan said that he was crucified is as sure as historical can ever be. Now, why are all these skeptics admitting that Jesus died by crucifixion? Well, let me lay down 5 lines of evidence, okay, for Jesus' death by crucifixion. Okay, the first one is that Jesus' death by crucifixion appears early. It's attested early in the early creedal information by Paul in an undisputed letter by Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Okay, this creed has been dated. To about 5 years of Jesus' death by crucifixion. Alright? Now, I'm not going to deal with the details of the creed right now. I'm going to deal with it when I deal with fact number 4, which will be in my next part. The reason is because I'm going to be using this creed to date track the claim that Jesus rose from the dead back to the disciples themselves. Okay, and in that presentation, I will talk about Jesus' death by crucifixion, or Jesus' the creed, how we know it's a creed, and how we know that it's early. How do we know it dates within 5 years of crucifixion? We'll deal with all that then. But right now, just understand that almost all scholars, including skeptical ones, including the Jesus Seminar, and some of these guys are even atheists, and they are dating this creed extremely early, right back to the 30s, within 5 years of Jesus' crucifixion. And in this early creedal information, hold on just for a second. Alright. But anyway, sorry, I'm talking to my wife who's behind the camera. But anyway, in this early creedal information, the creed starts out by saying that Jesus had died according to the scriptures. So Jesus' death was reported extremely early, alright? And it starts off identifying that with the very early creedal information by Paul in an undisputed letter by Paul. Everyone agrees, even skeptical scholars agree, that Paul is the undisputed author of 1 Corinthians. Bar Ehrman himself concedes that Paul is the undisputed author of 1 Corinthians. And this letter itself dates, which the date itself is not even in dispute, dates AD 55, which means even the letter itself predates all 4 Gospels. So Jesus' death by crucifixion is reported extremely early, as well as in the 4 canonical Gospels. Because even though skeptics will often disagree with Orthodox Christianity and try to late date these books to the latter part of the 1st century, they do agree that these books were written in 1st century and they represent 1st century material, and that these documents date within 60 to 70 years of Jesus' lifetime, which is exceptionally early. That's less than 2 generations of Jesus' lifetime. Also, we have other historical works outside the Gospels also reporting that, which I'll get into in a minute. They also reported that Jesus died by crucifixion. In other words, we got historical sources within less than 150 years, probably most of them are less than 100 years. Some of them date right back to 1st century or very early 2nd century, showing clearly that Jesus died by crucifixion. That's an impressive thing right there, because that means we've got early information that told that Jesus' death by crucifixion was reported early, and nobody even challenged that crucifixion for almost 200 years. So everyone agrees that Jesus did indeed die by crucifixion. Alright, second line of evidence is that Jesus' death by crucifixion is multiply attested. It's attested in all 4 canonical Gospels. Now again, I'm not assuming that the Gospels are inerrant or reliable. I believe that, but I don't have to work off that assumption. Everyone agrees that, or just about everyone agrees that the 4 canonical Gospels were written in 1st century. Knowing that it's written in 1st century, and knowing that all 4 Gospels attest to Jesus' death by crucifixion. Hold on just for a second. I'm not understanding what my wife is saying.